Hello, my name is Arch Brooks, and I would like to thank you for viewing this tutorial. We will need the Delphi Programming Workbench active for this part of the process, so we'll use our Programmer's Workbench and go ahead and initiate that process. We will create our BCS user log project by traversing our workbench to the Delphi code generator. And then we select Gen All. We want our root directory to be there, and it wants a family ID, and we'll supply BCS GEN, and that'll be BCS user log. And it wants to know unit name. And that should have created a complete Delphi project for us. So now we can go ahead and open up the BCS user log project that we created just a few moments ago. And there's our subdirectory, and for now we'll use the mainline project, and voila, there is the application. With this particular view, what we'll want to do is to set up a mechanism by where we can perform CRUD actions with create, update, and delete users. So the first thing we'll need is a navigation. Control, we'll use the TDB navigator, we'll drop that on our form, and we'll give it alignment to top. The next thing we'll probably want to get is a DB grid. We'll drop that on our form. We'll align that to client. And the next thing we want is an ADO table. Let's just use the table component. And basically, we want to drop a data source. We'll connect it to the ADO table. We'll call this user data source. We'll call the table user. Then we will connect that data source to our navigator and also to our DB grid. And that completes pretty much the plumbing that we will need to create, update, and delete users in our database. Well, at this point, we can probably go ahead and create our database. Use WAMP in this example. And we use the PHP admin. Go ahead and list our databases, and we'll make a UL demo database. And our database has been created. See if we can find it in the list. We'll refresh. Our list. And there's our UL demo database. Next, we want to create our user table. So we give our table name, and let's start out with 4 columns. And we'll come over and click the go, and that sets us up to insert these 4 fields into our data table. Basically, we have populated our 4 data fields, and we made the user ID field auto increment field. So with each record that's added to the user table, they will have a unique identifier. And we give it a user comment, and we'll go ahead and tell it to save the table. And there is our table. So that particular step has been completed. Now we want to create a DSN for our newly created database, and we'll tell it we want to add the user DSN, and it's going to be a MySQL driver. The data source name will be user demo. We can give a brief description. We'll make our server localhost. We'll give it a user and a password. And we'll select UL demo for our database. We'll give it a test. Connection successful. So we now have a functional DSN for our project. And we click OK to go out of the old DBC admin. We have returned to Delphi. We click on our ADO component for the table, and we build a connection string. We use the data source name, user demo. We'll put our username in here. And our password. We test our connection and we see that it's good. Click OK. Now our connection string is in. We want to give it a table name. It is user. And so we should have functionality to the CRUD, but we didn't activate our table. Once we do that, now it's ready to insert, delete, create, update information in our user database. We return to Delphi, and since we have this portion of the application running, next we would want to install a package for this component, and the code generator produced that source code, that particular source code, and we want to install our component, and it has installed that particular component. Now that our package has been installed, we would want to go in and test that particular package, and also our code generator generated the component tester that we would need to do so. And voila, there it is. So at this point, if we go ahead and run the application, we can see our component is fully functional, operational, and is testing just fine. My name is Arch Brooks, and I would like to thank you for viewing our tutorial.